The New York Times, by the way, I keep looking day after day in the New York Times for any stories, major reports on the shocking revelations that we're seeing out of Israel, a story that's being hotly covered by the Israeli Hebrew press, and which all of us are following on social media, of the confirmation of what we have known, which is that Israel is running an archipelago of concentration camps and torture dungeons in which rape is being practiced as a weapon, a systematic weapon of revenge, particularly against Palestinian males. And this is, I think, one of the most telling moments since October 7th, and possibly in the history of Israel, because now it's snowballed into full-scale riots and major national protests in support of the right of Jewish Israeli soldiers to anally rape Palestinian men. And the New York Times, which we confronted and debunked over their front page hoax investigation of Hamas systemic rape on October 7th, has not produced any coverage of this that I know of. Maybe they're preparing something and we don't know about it. But we have video of this taking place. I mean, actual video. Is there any video? Like Biden said he saw photos of beheaded babies. Then we heard an event Kamala Harris sponsored at the White House claims that there was video from Hamas GoPro cameras showing sexual assault on October 7th. That's totally false. There is no video of that, but we have video that's careening across Israeli media of Israeli soldiers sexually assaulting Palestinian males at the Sde Teiman concentration camp in the Negev desert. I mean, you can see them. They force them to sit down. This is Israel's Channel 12. They force them to lie prone. And then this is a Palestinian male nurse, by the way, who they're about to sexually assault. They say that they're all Hamas Nukba commandos. And then you can see Israeli soldiers getting to work, complete, unabashed, demented degenerates. And there's a debate in Israel on whether this is permissible, and the U.S. media is not covering this. When I talk about a debate and massive protests, I mean, take a look at what's happening outside, what happened yesterday outside the Israeli prosecutor's house. These are massive pro-rape protests demanding that the soldiers who did that be given total immunity. What a sick society.
By the way, Twitter user Resistance Stand came up with this name for the Anti-Defamation League, the ADL, which constantly goes after Palestinians and their defenders. She calls the ADL the Anal Rape Defense League. It's pretty good, because that's what they are now. I mean, that's what all Israeli government supporters are now. And again, what does this follow? This follows months and months and months of nonstop propaganda in all the establishment media outlets from the White House that Hamas engaged in mass sexual violence on October 7th, even though when you look at the actual evidence, there is still not to date evidence for one case of sexual assault on October 7th, let alone mass cases of it. But yet it was taken as fact across media. Anybody who dared question it, like us, were deemed to be rape denialists. And that, of course, helped manufacture support for Israel's mass murder. But it's even worse, because who is actually committing documented sexual assault? It's the Israeli military, to the point where people are now rioting and protesting over and insisting on their right to do that.
And the police stand down in the face of the riots because They're under the command of the security minister, Itamar Ben-Gvir, who supports these riots, who supports this rapist insurrection. An insurrection to insert things in your rectum. That's like literally what they're doing in Israel.